Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Ghana is still in a shock, a nation mourning the loss of top leaders in a tragic helicopter crash. But beneath the grave lies a storm of unanswered questions. Today, Ivan Innocent Che stepped forward with a bold and explosive breakdown that could change everything we think we know. From hidden truths to controversial claims, this is the story the whole nation is talking about. Stay with us. You are watching PENDREAM TV, where we speak truth without fear. Subscribe as well, like and also share. Without much ado, join me listening to what he said into detail. Thank you.
A Black Wednesday into.
Yes. Because you see Black Wednesday and because I mean Dark Wednesday.
Dark Wednesday, yo.
Black and ya the bonnet.
Okay.
I think it was tragic. And I'm not sure say any of us here can find any appropriate words. Yeah, the best describe it, what happened. Because for me, sitting here, I don't believe say Omanabuama Mutala. I don't believe, like I said, Obi can't story be actual, and you just want to, because it's something that is very, very, very difficult to accept. Say this is the reality, but unfortunately, it is the senior, and I should the able to me I kind of say yes, and your heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family. Obia, some of them, and actually have personal attachment with 4 of the persons who are involved in this particular accident, and I think that is very tragic. Yakase nipo obia bewu, but sometimes kwanya befa so abewu no, and yasem Nico. Say ote helicopter na elusu control because they city and intino a somersault to wiem so matisa man for a bisasa na parachute wa hen na deben sometimes I think in some no ba unya to wase na tiase helicopter ya dey out na the first thing you do is about seat belt and this are dey nya lusu control na somersault to wiem enye ti say plane betimi nanti wo ma me kwa kofa ade na se for no such and near man craving no cry no any home and a cock for ena so her jet fuel one of the most combustible, the most inflammable fuels I was as way so and na me make reference I will call the World Trade Center and Kofi ko hijack plane the call World Trade Center no one of the planes no now omo say ya fail with jet fuel I won because omo say a very explosive and one of the jets no ko je no na ya load jet fuel wom and I'm going to hijack the boom. So, any plane in the course of that particular fire, sir, I'm fuel na woman, and the man exploding. The kind of devastating impact in your sana. We I did win your carbon as an impact in the swamp. The likelihood say Jatuma, a day, because jet fuel na nkasa will power the distance, the combustion, you know, ama anwaya ding. And so images in as for a circulator is very bad. And we back Ghana for this attitude of I want to be the first person to break the news. But we should know that the very people involved are individuals and they have families.
Yes.
And whenever we are circulating some of these things, we have to be very circumspect in showing some of these things. You understand? For instance, now I was worried about Nipa body. I just said Gubotoma na yede call, but the explanation is yes. Explanation is not the bodies were so hot. Say omuntimin fan body bag into they needed to transport those. The explanation, but
ventilation
exactly. Yes, but I think those or more those pictures. You know, it's quite unfortunate. We need to educate ourselves now and stop it. Some of these things because Nico Obakaya similar thing happened in the US. Kobe Bryant,
yes,
only so similar helicopter way. Yes, police for no call scene no could capture pictures no more post here. Near SC settlement in over $28 million. That is how Sanima way I'm for taking it serious because some of these things, you know, scar until forever. Just imagine like somebody like Omanabuama, Nema Meti TV, so and the last image Obenya, yes, I near my way and the bias is and do you see how painful it is? Utu no Kayobana, this is what comes to mind. So I think that yeah, prayer no lumba ubehana social media man forces a microphone, the Kurasi, independent say an interview, and also to yes. Nipa na or not the baby I would about an agent say the opportunity to be on TV. This lumba in beginning come more yakofa confusion to family because of some of these. I think
even we crown call fashion se Kosikama village ho exactly. Yes. And when I be bloggers in the yes. And people have started weaving conspiracy theories. Obiane the enkase obi to me kamba asem no can make sure so when you so in their worker. And you who say we also dealing with family or alusu somebody and people are very significant. Abuaje, for instance, was a personal friend. I've been to his house. Your friend is saying Obuase Abuaje. And I remember Samuel Abuaje. Yes, I remember Olusu elections now back and forth. And I was on phone with him for almost 1 hour and over. And this is somebody. Yes, he has been coming to me as well. So that relationship is there, so you can understand. And yes, and the Honorable Mutala is somebody I've been admiring from afar. I like the way and analysis, very frank, like Asemno. And over the years, whenever I'm doing analysis, I make reference to in some what can say, or in the back can say, or he doesn't believe say honorable more different parliamentarians no deserve because on one hand na include for name bi omo no ha on he doesn't feel comfortable. This is somebody or cannot be straightforward, and with an analysis and that's what means that this is really an intelligent person. Honorable Omanabuama, this is a very young man, NDC IT from with a medical background, what blended with politics and how now of me, and I started hearing stories the kind of nipa wa buomo nipa wa establish yomo as a young man in politics. And your friend is saying a man for a day before obewu you see social media video be by a crown or the your friend is saying plastic chair and a nanti Okohu family no surgery and he paid for everything. So that could be his last act of benevolence on social media. And I'm told that is what he has been doing. You understand? And there are a lot of young guys in the NDC who can say I am here because of Omanabuama. Yes. What I say. And so these are the kind of impact that I'm making on individuals. And then Honorable Samuel Sapong, yes, I also I've encountered him a couple of times. I also very nice person who the first time I didn't even know say he would notice, but he called me by my name, kind of way, and a whole lot. So I think it's not just the family. You will be and the difficult aspect of it is and your private job you know I do we see mine. And that is very tragic. So I think across the political divide, we need to bury our political differences. Now you said these people, I call them the Great Eight. See, the big six. We need to tag them the Great Eight. Na omo eulogize omo memory. Na manfo who say so cool who mind na in line of duty. So the nation will never forget you because very often we forget about people. I think we need to do something eulogize omo memory because any private job no more yet. Yes, I'm but in line of duty like this, and these are individuals. I think there's something need to be done. That kind of and unfortunately I listened to some terrible, despicable comment from people who should know better, like Kofi Akpalu on one of the channels. I think that this is not the time for such a responsible, reckless comment. You understand? Because say and they say I'm not sure say sometimes the best say you be able and asamba say you better shut up and just let those who speak to speak and those who mourn because sa ade we you mean so you busi ni na sa ade we ya to a menya sure say obetimi aka say ubu ani aguso ana say kokika nsema wo ka no. And then I was very happy when the president made an assurance say
an investigation will be started. Ade ba kwa kroma yenye ho ade sa na ma wei ade we sia oh yemfa manyame sa yemfa manyame sa na ma no I'm not sure say nyansa sama say yemfa manyame yes nyame life in dem say belong to nyame but we all must also do some investigation who what actually happened. Sabaya in going forward, you know, yeah, the be avert similar occurrence. What I say, a accident at this stage is what we can say. But now that the black box has been recovered, according to the Ashanti regional minister, no, whatever conversation that transpired between the pilot and the control tower, no, and within, no, everything will be recorded, and I'm sure we will get a fair idea what exactly happened here because this particular. Your friend saying helicopter way has been involved in a lot of near accident situations. You understand? So we have to know whether time and you do for servicing, not for there the current state of way. There are a lot of forensic, I think, investigation that has to be conducted. These things are about public, you know. You can't just shelve it and sweep it under the carpet. And I think that transparency must be accommodated. Exactly what happened. Now your man is move on. The situation like this, you know, the best way to give you the family closure. Wama Ghana for closure. Yes, sir. We investigate amam for who exactly what happened, and I think Sasia Yebenya Ahotoso Sabaya a bed debunke the kind of conspiracy theories people are just throwing around because you know my catchers and we are not just makers of news, we are all prosumers. People are producing, making and lay content. People are selling content for money, and as for people who just try to create their own news, and some of this false narrative. In one way, it will become the established narrative. Family no crime feel uncomfortable. One of the uncles interview and they see I say adeba ko ahye na chese e kai na ya pa enya accident na asino na enye wu no mawu na mbom sa akoko boto na ya kari wa mu wo ma na ye video a amanfo de nam no e da obi kon ho it's and just imagine say papa and that is the memory you have and it's very terrible, you understand. So I think that my proposal is that going forward, you know, parliamentarians will need to propose a legislation I be dealing with some of the Nico car betting your ball. I'm a nurse. I know say a car bombs is here at the moment and somebody can do CPR, basic things to revive you. But you no one see the problem with when she check camera a video.
And there are some background now of accident, road accident.
Yes.
Then the pan instead of so called trying to face.
Yes, or the the social media because I mean I'm posting when something could have been done to save. So I think that some of these things, some of these sensitive images and as a phenomenon, we need to weave a legislation about bar man for especially obi any accident. Those sensitive graphics, you know. Yan shamra be ban people from posting. And now say some of these social media platforms, you know, we can engage them, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. We can engage them say within this territory, some of these explicit photos, you know, we should not allow them. I think Facebook and other platforms have those policies. The quiet, you show a blue high, the catastrophe catcher, say sensitive graphic. And I think some of these things going on platforms, what's happening as a forum. For send the video, we are fond of doing those things. So I think that we need to do proper legislation. From doing some of these things, and within the media space, and when it comes to some of these experiences, as a new and blogging whole lot of dirty news na you true without being sensitive said nipa no every family member nipa there. And I think that is really bad. But as a young man, I think that we should be inspired by what these people lived for. That is very, very important. My man, helping and inspiring a lot of young people. Where he got to, he has been able to honorable Mutala, where he's coming from. And he's one of the selfless individuals I've seen. This is somebody very passionate about Ghana. He has been an anti-corruption crusader for a very long time. I listened to a video, no I care. The young MPs, so we are Mansika and La Bebu you see how passionate he is, and also no ye debates and then as for Abuaji has been a very fine gentleman, and then Metisen will be honorable Samuel Sapon and Samu Kumase. Abuaji crowd so yes, last born. Oh, I think that the heartbreaking way I met say the pilot.
But 2 months ago.
No, pilot, you know. This year, losing the sister.
Oh, okay.
And I was here losing the brother. So he's the third.
Okay.
That is the story going around, if it is true.
Okay.
So you can imagine, and the mother is alive. You can imagine the pain that person is going through. This same 2025 way. So my mother Lusu and mommy and son. So we will share the images like this. You should be very careful and you should be guided. So family no aka ha omane ya nete ba bi omo bi social media no so omo cops bi. So when you're weaving your conspiracy theories and then as for now, be very careful and be very mindful. It's not about getting the clicks on social media. It is about the sensitivity of how this and how painful it is. I did way a heartbreaking and heart-wrenching experience. And I was at the Jubilee House and I may follow this kind of your friend is a memorial service and also President Mahama Baye. You could see this is a man who is visibly shattered. Broken inside because you see Niamani Sisi first one about yourself guilt, especially when the person is going to represent you. A question about Musa Mekaso Munkonkwaya Den. What I say. So you could see the president is highly devastated. The vice president, honorable your friend said Julius. Everybody was sharing tears and then as for because this is something that you can't analyze it, you can't explain. There are just you can't do anything that make sense out of some of these things. Obia, the air was heavy with grief, pain, and sorrow. And Obia Brifibi, and the atmosphere at the Jubilee House yesterday was that of your friends saying sorrow, then as a fall. So I think, as a nation, we must all come together and celebrate this great 8. Now you making sure, what they lived for, their legacy will be in our memory, will be on the consciousness of Ghanaian people for a very long time. Now young say we 9-day wonder we are forgetting real for I think we need to do something to build a legacy for yes, I think still there is pain in the air. There is grief also, and I think it's good a larger section of Ghanaians identify themselves with what is happening morning with the state. But the president has officially declared 3 days of mourning yet to celebrate these individuals, and I think it's in line with how tragic sometimes some of these deaths, their money it's possible helicopter and crabby team be boho abra wunya na wona mabu na dade bi ato wonan so na obi en ho betimi apagya na ade na catch fire. So animu no na wo she you can't do anything about it. So this is the magnitude of pain these individuals got exposed to. So we are Ghana ni na wo ka ho asema. You should be my obi be ka say no mo nkwa na bi ato mo da bi enyo mo nkwa na bi ato mo, but I think say abano we cannot also brush it aside. Okay. So I think that is one of the way I inform the kind of Nema Koso, and I think that as a state, this is the time said na yesi kind of politics na sephobia no yet betunchen. Now also at that side, I'm for raising a whole lot of questions regarding your friend saying the state of the plane and as a forum. I think that proper investigation. Their course will distill and bring clarity to some of these things. And I also believe it is an opportunity for us. I am found with truly the military. Now you're making sure any single sophisticated equipment be available. Because crashing AC, the next thing I may expect is at the very moment the military issue statement say play Naira, the next flight should be there. Search for
a searching flight.
What I say. So but you can't sit in a cry issue statements. Something needed to be done to do a follow up. What I say no,
the follow up. I think the follow up was done. But
no, the follow up was done, but it was.
I understand. These are areas
you see. Communication 9:30. Having a bare mid morning. No different.
Yeah.
So this so easy. But on June this said, also on June this said, you say my between but man, you can't Nicholas 12:30 1 when them say I feel never man, yeah, won't cry.
So I think communication is very, very important. So all kind of all come as much in the you're also adding solution. Somebody department say, oh, this is what has happened. This is what is being done. What I say, communication is very, very. It must always be effective and very absolute. So who say something is being done. You understand? And I think said the Mexican Sabaya did put away with all these conspiracy theories and rap who said joy for a year interviewer. Some of the village nearby and a man for alcohol spare parts in the Kofi. I think that the military met some of the people and they confiscated these items. These are near any forensic investigation. I'm for assassin the Kofi. Mine and now you interview the catchers. They should bring it because they would need it. But Salah can assembly see we need to control this particular place, making sure you see understand. So some of this the agency then as for no office are better on farm part in and some of these people but you can't blame them. Some are doing it out of ignorance. What I mean, so what now say that here. So I think it is an opportunity for us to read through the military. Like I said, always we've been complaining about. I was shocked the first day I walked to Bema Kampa Matidi I was shocked because then I was expecting to see a golden city, huge place. But the very moment I got there, I was shocked. And I think we need to help the military. Now you're making sure we read through them, especially to be liberation. Young guys no more band baby or I think every resources be a state in the because these are young men or more dedicated or more life they will serve their country. You can die any point in time, but the best we can do for them is to make sure we provide proper accommodation in the I can't do mojuma because jetty available available. I'm not sure I feel I'm for because we aside I say whole lot of yes, and American because the unavailability give you credence, creating room for people to be doing all these things. So I think that we need to focus. And at the money I said, do you know the last address Dr. Manabo Makwaya of Parliament, he was hitting on this same thing. And I've seen the video circulating. Or can say some of the jets we use in the military, some in terms of they are not in good conditions. They be in conditions.
1980.
So even this one doesn't belong to the military. Okay. It's just a custody. So maybe say whether it belongs to them or not. Once you are using it, for military purposes, the maintenance should be there. And some of these things you may even go beyond the military. And I make us say, you see, it's about a country and your resources because military they don't finance themselves. It is the state that you take home and $58 million to put for mana. The $58 million and he signed the category 7 or 39. Then this has a military no here and for more. Now this can be doing I think some of these things here near my when can and then with the DNA yes, the DNA can be done here. But in medical settings, very often we do what we call confirmatory test. What I say. So some of the facilities here can do. But for further, because I listen to your friend saying the health minister. No, because a confirmatory set because I quite a your friend saying hospital now you test like HIV and as for. We do first one oral quick, second one as for. We do further test to confirm. Sometimes Kofi come back and let's redo it and confirm. You understand? And the speed and the urgency in South Africa, you cannot compare it to Ghana. And the situation, for instance, say I can say Muslims and Muslims are not people who are to make people or more way or more. So with that speed and that urgency, you need services like this. So you know that you say Ghana to me, but it's the urgency and the fact that.
But I'm saying forensic Ghana hankas to me.
No, DNA test, but I'm telling you, sir. The urgency and the weight you you know some of the one of the biggest your friend is a laboratory where organ higher I think I'm not doing advert for them Lancet you know be free everyone there but some of the tests of Bojija Kasa 2 weeks take it to South Africa you understand so sometimes when you avail yourself to some of these things you understand and I think that the larger part of the whole conversation has to do with the point here maybe I can't say you see. So we in the it doesn't matter where you get to in life. The very moment I'll be Obia Majana Nico no or BMW. Nico Usidai or nobody cares about dining with Japan Sika or go bank account. It is about the way we impact it on a month for. And not make come and about money. People are not talking about a dime or people are not talking about cars anyway. People are talking about impact I want make it on others. And for me, so what you see, now we're a politician. This should be, and I've always been talking about this. Let us focus on building people, elevate people, so that and who buanipa may expect is a me buana mana be no. Who to a certain level or also impact others, and then this thing it continues. You understand? Let us begin to elevate people. Build the individuals. And these are people who come and celebrate you, elogize you, and talk about what you have done. Now, what's the second in our quest? Oh, matter at 940, matter we and 940. The poorest person in Accra and Odidi and that Odidi. The best we can do as a society is to impact. That be a catch man for say, yet hey, there be a analysis where stand the question, you know, na me bray about Kwame Nkrumah, no Kwame Nkrumah, not Mabo Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah wasn't a billionaire. I can't have been dying OCC. But this guy is so fabulously rich. He said, live in the memory, the conscience of every single Ghanaian. And this is the world. We are politicians and we are opribi. Sabaya, what people can never forget about you because of the impact I've been making. And I think that these are lessons that we need to learn going forward. Say, politics, in the governance, whatever space you find yourself, you prioritize it, impacting, helping, elevating people. Because my culture say leadership, the central theme is humanity, and leadership in the idea you try go above bisu say ukungudem ko kanba na wana be implemented. No, leadership for me is an act. You look at the prevailing circumstances, social, economic, political, religious, everything, social phenomena, everything. Now what navigate it through. So for instance, problem about you with solution. Problem about you offer your friends a solution, and as for a man for a war mobile or you're very good, but there is an opportunity be anyhow. How do you find these individuals and elevate themselves by your potential and your media more? You can also potentiate some of this and elevate them and can impact and help this country. These are some of the things I think the politicians should prioritize. It's not about when I will go account to my we can't feed anybody. And that was the last time I went to one of the universities and I was interacting with students. And maybe so almost say, when I the richest person in Ghana in the history of this country, we saw the Dakon farms, we saw Mrs. Walker Dakon, one for farm and so will be crank. What I say. So Sikana Wano, Obi will be China. Now to Ghana, Benes can watch Elon Musk. And now Benyan watch and Bill Gates. So the best thing you can do is the impact you make on others, the little that you can, wherever space you find yourself, make it a priority, build people, help people, elevate people. Now, Mano and a idea obetimi akasa yes menso de meetimi ye ni contribution here and that's who Nicholas say ofuri ha beduru ha ayamena meboa no even if you don't talk about it you to also go and help others and that particular thing will grow. And I think that these things I see and I'm inspired by good things among for kafa o manebo ma ho and mutala and few others and my cultural Abuaji, I know him personally. He's very kind when it comes to Samuel Abuaji, very kind. And I think let us be inspired by this. Very often politics na ya na greed na doso person and life sometimes we must begin to understand life. They say life is very simple. Just imagine say position ya chiche nipa bia ba ku bia nya bia we nipa won to ho ase but now you didn't know say through that and what they call you someone said this. So life, the dynamics and the complexities of it is so things it goes beyond human understanding. So sometimes you're taking life slow. Now you're taking whatever space you find us. Me say you don't need to be a president to be able to make impact. You don't need to be a minister. The little space you find yourself, you can do the little that you can. Say be able to grow minor. Now let us begin to love one another. Now now greed as for we are dying. So I think these are some of the inspirations that we need to draw from some of these things and inspire. So you see about your country, you bet me with that love, I think that we can, but very often the Ghanaian dream has never been in focus. Individual pursuing selfish parochial interest, greed in a way it's not nice. So I think that these are some of the things that we need to do. So let me take the opportunity once again to wish the family heartfelt condolences, because these are young men, individuals in their friends, 50s, 40s. 40. These are young people.
None of them is above 50. I think they are all.
I think 51. I think
Omane is 49, because I heard from
Alaji.
Alaji is more than 50. I think he's 57 today.
Yes, Alaji is 57 today.
Yeah, but I'm saying that a larger part of them, your friends saying your friends, the pilots, Abuaje, Honorable,
all of them, apart from the
Alaji. These are young individuals, so I think we need to tag them. The great 8, celebrate their memory, not just because they are special, but because what they've done represent, will send a message. About catch young Ghanaian say, so also woman. Na say enam so na wo pa or my will reward you. I think this is something that we need to do. And here also extending your heartfelt condolences to the president, because I understand the grief. For instance, obi kwako jina we nima kwakwa ya ade what I say, and it's sad. And I understand the Honorable Mutakasu, because according to report, he was supposed to be part of it, and then Honorable Dr. Forcing called him, said they have a meeting, so he has to
make it to cry. Say Dr. Sapon, so
you see the complexity and dynamics. Life, is so complex. Let's take it easy. Sometimes you can't understand it fully. Now you live, in our own terms, in a very simple fashion.
Okay,
and I think that will help all of us.
Sorry, one minute. Na yenko yenim molas west na ye would change now the atwa so amame.
Yeah, Nicholas, I think with this whole thing, we must concentrate on fighting Galamsey, and I think the state must be very radical in its approach in dealing with this thing, because before elections, one of the topics we are leading the conversation in the devastating impact of Galamsey. How I won't cry mutibo home will be a ba way, because of the chemicals and toxic materials are very often among for you to do some of these things. You see, nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is but the mentality, the Ghanaian and our attitude is the same. The greed pursuit, is the same thing. I think say kasa tena we say obi hot or tin baby now say MPP call yam so ya buy na banti aduru so, and these things are a motivation for a lot of people to go ahead and do some of these things. Yes, so I think that in as much as I appreciate the fact that the state is trying to do something, but I think that it's not enough. We need to be very radical, because and I'm sad there we so na sa nipa ku ya kunyo mu and negalam say gidi I mean just komo ko bo asa ko program bia, you understand? So I think that in honoring their memory, the best thing we can do is to crack down on these illegal miners. Now you're making sure say sa niema we be ade e beka say and I'm so my mindset and hunting. Am I deal away with Galamsey? May say I'm on for Besha Banyachi, yes, you buy now about 3 years, so that kind of crocodile John Wayne, I'm for Shemudum, because now I'm here videos be a rant any police for Timaku do yes, change fire. Yes, or move to police photo in a police for so to move in the name of Galamsey, because almost a police for no ban or more money. I don't like it's absolute nonsense, you understand? So I think that okay. We need to find a way to go away with some of these things. And the program, I think, with the legendary KKD. Or he's watching the program.
Okay.
And
Baby will be
If you believe that people deserve the full story, join the movement, subscribe, share, and turn the notification bell on. This is PENDREAM TV, where we uncover the truth, no matter how deep it's buried. Thank you for watching.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.